very important conference organized under the theme Resilient Communities and Healthy Environment, the EIIP approach. This theme is about advancing public discourse to help practitioners and policymakers to explore innovative solutions for employment creation, inclusive growth, environmental stewardship, as well as ensuring social safeguards, such as it's crucial in amplifying the aspiration of Africans to address the challenge of its people and in realizing its vision of bringing rapid, sustainable, and equitable socio-economic progress that will relieve hundreds of millions of people from quagmire of poverty and social injustice. It is this ultimate goal that has brought us together today, a goal that would demand our unified effort and foresight to make positive impact on the life of each and everyone across the continent of Africa. Our international and regional commitments, as well as the national actions, are testimony to our determination in creating conducive environment, investment, and trade policies, and development strategies, strategic infrastructure assets to spur job-rich and inclusive growth. In the government of Ethiopia's successive development plans, broad-based policy reforms and programs have been implemented to tackle the most pressing challenges, such as poverty, unemployment, and social imbalances. Our development plans prioritize labor-intensive approaches, ensuring that growth is not only rapid, but also inclusive and job-rich. Strategic investments have been directed toward environmental sustainability through flagship initiatives such as the Green Legacy, while simultaneously efforts have been focused on expanding access to essential infrastructure and public services. These consecutive sector development programs, particularly in the infrastructure, have not only improved the quality of life for millions, but have also generated thousands of employment opportunities across the nation.
This pivotal session on resilient communities and healthy environment, the Employment-Intensive Investment Program, EIIP approach, it's truly an honor to moderate this distinguished panel as we set the stage for what promises to be a series of insightful discussions throughout this regional conference hosted here in the vibrant city of Addis Ababa. This year's conference, as you know, centers on the crucial intersection of pro-employment and climate-smart approaches in development. I congratulate the organizing team for coming up with such a timely themes and topics. I'm particularly excited that Ethiopia is hosting this conference, which offers us a unique opportunity for South-South learning, especially in job-rich sectors like infrastructure, environment, and agriculture. I agree that the conference also allows Ethiopia to showcase its own journey and learn from global good practices in promoting employment through innovative approaches. Ladies and gentlemen, this session I'm charged with to moderate today, focusing on resilient communities and healthy environment, the EIIP approach is particularly timely and relevant. As outlined in the conference theme, we are here to delve into innovative solutions for intensive infrastructure investment that simultaneously drive job creation, foster inclusive growth, champion environmental stewardship, ensure essential social safeguards, and build truly resilient infrastructure.
Our youth here present, good afternoon. I'm delighted to be here in Addis for the 20th Regional Conference for Labor-Based Practitioners. As a proud host of the 19th Regional Conference, at that time I was the Minister of Public Service and Labor and Employment in my country, Rwanda, I know the time, resources, and energy that goes into this conference. So let me start by expressing my sincere appreciation to the government of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia hosting this conference. Please join me to clap for them. The ILO and Ethiopia has a history of over 100 years of strong partnership. I also want to thank the African Union, partners, and ILO colleagues for making this conference happen. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, as per the program, I'm expected to speak to the topic reimagining socio-economic development to ensure decent work and social justice for all. There are several inspiration teachings about imagination and/or reimagination. One of the interesting quotes is from Muhammad Ali, who once said that the man who has no imagination has no wings. This sounds like conventional wisdom, but maybe Muhammad Ali was wrong on this one. In Africa, we have imagined and reimagined for too long, and we have still not grown wings to fly. The continent is still faced with some of the biggest decent work and social justice deficits in the world. Maybe the African proverb which says, "He who wants to fly like a bat must first learn to see in the dark," is more apt for Africa. Indeed, it's time to confront our challenges with concrete and impactful actions. Honorable Ministers, Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the report on progress on decent work SDG 8, recently presented to the Africa Regional Forum on Sustainable Development, held in Kampala last month, concludes that Africa is off track on achieving SDG 8. The report indicates that progress has stalled or been reversed in certain areas. It concludes that considerable efforts will be needed by many African countries if they are to achieve the goal by 2030 deadline. The slow progress on the continent is attributed to sluggish economic growth, inflationary pressures, the debt crisis, fiscal constraints, high informality, and high unemployment rates. Levels of poverty, inequality, and child labor remain stubbornly high. Social protection coverage remains low. Climate change and instability are reversing development gains or diverting resources from critical investments in economic and social development.
I'm very pleased and grateful to the Ethiopian authorities to join you in Addis once again and to be able to address this 20th Regional Labor-Based Conference following the 17th Regional Seminar, which was held here almost 8 years ago. The focus was then on delivering on the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, in a very different backdrop to the one that we are faced with today, where the challenges may even be greater to be able to reach these goals. Today, it's symbolic that we are all here, as I think that our Director General had also mentioned, since your presence truly is a strong testament to your continued commitment to job creation and to the promotion of the decent work agenda and the need to be able to build resilient communities and a healthy environment. The world is facing many uncertainties in this current era of profound change, uncertainty, and crisis, and these uncertainties need to be turned into opportunities by investing in the job-rich sectors, among others in infrastructure, but also enabling productivity gains, being able to promote trade, creating positive spillovers which can help spread resources more equitably. Allow me just quickly to highlight some of the global employment challenges that I believe we're facing. Just to mention a few, over 200 million people are still globally unemployed. 780 million workers are living on less than $2 a day. Over 55% of the informal jobs, as I think has been mentioned by my colleagues earlier, and over 29% are living on the edge of poverty. 2 billion are living in conflict, many which are protracted. And by 2030, nearly 60% of the extreme poor will live in fragile, conflict, and violence-ridden environments. And I don't think that's the world we want to live in. So ministers, distinguished guests, and colleagues, the need to be able to build resilient communities has never been clearer. Public and private investments should be used to be able to create inclusive job opportunities, stimulating consumer spending, and generating a positive feedback loop that fosters overall economic development and prosperity, creating multipliers throughout the local economy. Moreover, these investments in certain sectors can help in optimizing technological change and innovation, as I think has already been mentioned today, which in turn will shape employment outcomes in terms of quantity, quality, and the accessibility of these investments. The growing need to even further narrow the financial gap to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals underscores the necessity for holistic and systemic approach to inclusive sectoral policies that are most helpful in increasing its size and the contribution of these specific sectors, increasing their productivity and competitiveness to truly have a transformational impact.
My topic for today is public employment programs, Ethiopian experience. As the last speaker, I will be brief because I'm complimenting on my colleagues from Ethiopia who spoke earlier. And regarding the policy context related to employment, particularly decent employment in Ethiopia, we have 120 million population in Ethiopia, and every year close to 2 million people are joining the labor force. So if we see this figure, it is inducing some challenges, but our employment policy in Ethiopia is aspiring to harness the opportunity in this untapped potential of our young people. The employment policy in Ethiopia is focusing on decent job creation that favors fair pay and also safe working conditions for our workers. And also the policy promotes skill-led job creation to ensure sustainability of jobs created in the labor market. The policy also gives attention for inclusivity, including gender-sensitive and youth employment perspectives. Our policy also focuses on startup ecosystem building, including entrepreneurship campaigns, both focused entrepreneurship development and mass entrepreneurship. And finally, the policy also promotes to reduce unemployment and underemployment in the economy. As Her Excellency, our Minister, Dr. Fusum said, in our 10 years perspective plan, we have planned to create 20 million jobs considering 2 million people are joining the labor force every year. But when we come to the actual annual plan of the Ethiopian government, we are planning more than 3 million job creation, both self and wage employment. Of course, Ethiopia's employment policy is, giving special attention for self-employment, and through self-employment, both the national government and the regional governments are, focusing in ensuring appropriate ecosystem. Second topic maybe is with regard to institutional building. Since job creation is a multi-stakeholder business, the Ethiopian government has established public institutions that coordinate the job creation endeavor and the skill development. The Ministry of Labor and the Skills, where I came from, is one of the witnesses, and there are also other institutions, public institutions like the Entrepreneurship Development Institute, which is exclusively working on developing entrepreneur ecosystem in Ethiopia. There are also regional authorities that coordinate job creation endeavors, and also intersectorial joint plans and intersectorial coordination platform and different councils. There are also private sector entities closely working on job creation and the skill development endeavors, like Chamber of Commerce, different associations, and sector skill councils, where ILO is also a champion in promoting this sector skill council. When we come to the national plans, we are planning to create more than 3 million, as I said before. To do this, there are flagship initiatives. There are flagship public employment programs, which has been discussed, of course, in the speech of our distinguished ministers earlier. One of the flagship employment program in Ethiopia is the productive safety net program, and also there is an urban productive safety net and job project, which is interlinked with this safety net program. This program has passed through many phases, and it has addressed so many people in rural and urban areas by engaging in labor-intensive jobs and green jobs. It also helped many unemployed youths in urban areas and helped them to transit to relatively stable and sustainable livelihood. The flagship program also supports the beneficiaries with business startups, including skill development and mentoring and coaching service to start their own business. There are also other initiatives by the Ethiopian government, which were already mentioned by other ministers. I don't want to repeat them. Our initiatives in agriculture, including the Green Legacy, and also the initiatives that is focusing on improving the food systems and nutrition in Ethiopia. We call it the Bounty of Basket Initiative, which mainly focuses on improving the productivity and effectiveness of the livestock sector, and come up with some changes in the nutrition and food system. In the manufacturing sector, it was well said about the industrial park. Ethiopia has built many industrial parks and free trade zones where hundreds of thousands of people have been employed. And also we have a Made in Ethiopia initiative, which is mainly focusing on improving the effectiveness and the productivity of the existing private industries, private manufacturing industries, through this mobilization initiative. Many industries have increased their production capacity and employed more people, more young people in their industries. The infrastructural development, it was also well said, and I don't want to repeat that. Finally, I will say about the digital economy, the Digital Ethiopia 2025, which is particularly focusing on creating startup ecosystem. We have a startup proclamation, and also it is closely working on creating ease of doing business, including ease of doing business registration, and many tech-based startups have been established in the last 2-3 years.
On behalf of the Ministry of Urban and Infrastructure, I express profound gratitude to our guest of honor for joining this significant event. Your presence reflects the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia government's commitment to prioritizing employment and employability for inclusive, sustainable economic development and social justice. I warmly welcome all participants, especially those who have traveled far to join us in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia's vibrant capital and hub of Africa. It is an honor to host you in Ethiopia, the land of origins and cradle of mankind. I hope you enjoy the conference, you stay in Addis Ababa, and find time to visit our remarkable tourist attractions. Please feel welcomed and at home. The 19th Regional Conference held in Kigali, Rwanda in May 2023 was termed Promising Skills and Productive Jobs for Our Shared Future. At that conference, Ethiopia was selected to host the 20th Regional Conference. I thank you for choosing Ethiopia and Addis Ababa as the venue of this noble gathering. We have very effort to ensure the event is a success, and I hope we meet your expectations. Honorable Chief Guests and participants, the 20th International Labour Organization Regional Conference is themed Resilient Communities and Healthy Environment, the Employment-Intensive Investment Program approach. This significant gathering will explore innovative policies, strategies, and programs to address unemployment, poverty, and inequality challenges we face across our region. It is an opportunity to demonstrate our collective commitment to a sustainable future where employment, employability, and environmental health are intertwined. The significance of this conference cannot be overstated. We stand at the critical juncture, facing complex global challenges, stagnant economic growth, climate change, the digital divide, and geopolitical conflict. This drive unemployment, especially among youth, poverty, displacement, and inequality worldwide. In Ethiopia, as in many nations, unemployment threatened urban communities. Yet, Ethiopia prioritizes eco-friendly sustainable development, evidenced by planting over 25 billion trees in recent years and becoming the first nation to ban e-vehicles since 2023. I am confident that this conference will propose clear, innovative, and actionable strategies, leveraging the approach to create jobs while fostering sustainable development. It will also serve as a dynamic platform for knowledge sharing and networking across Africa and beyond. In hosting this event, my ministry has collaborated closely with the ILO and received support from development partners, stakeholders, and the private sector, many of whom are listed in the welcome pack. I extend my sincere thanks to the ILO and all contributors for their financial and in-kind support. Since its inception in 1919, the ILO has played a pivotal role in promoting fair labor conditions globally, aligning with Ethiopians' aspiration to improve livelihoods and achieve sustainable development. Ladies and gentlemen, the Ethiopian government is committed to creating jobs, promoting sustainable development, and building resilient communities. By investing in infrastructure, particularly road projects, the Ethiopian Road Administration has pioneered the employment-intensive approach. The majority of our road network was built and is maintained using this method. My ministry is currently leading initiatives such as the Road Sector Development Program, Rural Connectivity and Access Program, Housing Development Program, and Corridor Development Initiative implemented nationwide. These programs have created thousands of jobs for vulnerable communities while adopting environmentally sustainable practices. Creating more and better jobs fosters social cohesion and economic stability, ensuring everyone has a stake in our nation's progress. Promoting a healthy environment is equally critical. We must adopt sustainable practices that prioritize environmental protection and balance economic growth with ecological responsibility. Collaboration is vital to achieving these goals. We must forge partnership among governments, academia, the private sectors, civic organizations, communities, and development partners to coordinate efforts and support regional initiatives in combating unemployment, poverty, and underdevelopment. Distinguished participants, guests, ladies and gentlemen, over the next 5 days, you will deliberate on these issues through 18 high-level presentations and plenary sessions, facilitating focused discussion and knowledge sharing. You will also visit its showcase Ethiopian practical experiences. I am optimistic that this conference will yield practical, workable recommendations, emphasizing pro-employment and climate-smart development. With this remark, I welcome you again to Addis Ababa and the beautiful Mandela Hall, a venue for all Africans. Together, we can forge a pathway towards resilient communities and a healthy environment through employment-intensive initiatives.
This feeling inside my bones, it goes electric wavy when I turn it